Welcome to the Super Coach Show. I'm Coach Micheal Burt, your host today. You can find me at Micheal Burt, Micheal, because everybody needs a coach in life, at Brock Patterson, the Optimizer. You can follow him at Brock Patterson. We come to you every week right here exclusively on the Whatever It Takes Network. Grant Cardone, a 10X magnet, and we're going to multiply your life, multiply your money, multiply your business. You can also listen to us every single week on iTunes or Podcast Republic on Androids, whatever you got. And let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get you to a superhuman level.
Monster.
But to do that, we have got to find a kryptonite in your life. So
Yes.
at the end of every segment, we're going to actually identify what I think is the one thing that's holding you back, your personal kryptonite that's keeping you. And we got a very exciting show for the people today, and it is really based around a book and a concept called Person of Interest. This has been one of the most popular books I've ever written. I am speaking on it all over the country, out there in the world, and it is how to become the person other people want a piece of that cannot live without. So today's topic of the show is, how do you become the most fascinating person in the world? How do you drive up your fascination score?
Yes.
And all of this, I want to start with a story, because if you're interested in becoming a person of interest, and there are lots of people out there who want to be the celebrity in their space.
Yes.
They want to attract business to them versus chase it. They want to become buyers versus sellers. See, I think the buyer has an advantage over the seller in almost any transaction. And so you get to pick and choose who you work with. You create all this demand, all of this want.
No more begging.
Okay? And in the old Dale Carnegie, it says you must arouse a genuine desire or want from another person in your product or service. Think of it this way. You're a person of interest.
Right.
You are selling an object of interest. You have become the go-to player. You choose who you work with versus beg people to do business with you. And you live the life you've always imagined, because you're living a fascinating life. Now, this story starts by almost somebody that you know. It is somebody you know. And I don't know if I was at a party or with him, or you was at a party with him, but somewhere along the way, somebody asked, what do you do for a living? He says, hey, I do what you do. I'm a consultant, but I just sold my business for, I think, $50 million. And they said, how did you do that? And he said, I've made a fortune in my life by living a fascinating life. By becoming a fascinating person. Okay, now think about it. That struck with me. You sold your business for $50 million. You've lived a fascinating life. The opposite of interesting is boring. So I want you to be thinking throughout this show, you too can become a fascinating person. You can become a person of interest, a person of intrigue. You know, I showed this book to John Grisham's sister one day in a 3-hour meeting, Wendy Grisham. She picked it up and looked at it, and she said, person of intrigue. You're intriguing to the market, right? So here's what I want you thinking throughout the whole show today. I want you thinking fascinating people, they live fascinating lives.
Yes, they do.
They live interesting, fascinating lives. Number 2, they spend time with other fascinating people, right?
Correct.
Number 3, they wake up and pursue vigorously their potential and their talents. They're very interested and hungry to dig in deep, to really grind it out and reach their potential, right?
Dominate, that's right.
They go to fascinating places, okay? They experience fascinating opportunities. And here's the best part, Brock. They make some fascinating money, right?
What's about?
They make some fascinating money.
Right.
So when you read Person of Interest, because you've been on my team now, what, a year and a half?
Oh, yeah.
And you've studied a lot of people, but this particular book, Person of Interest, resonated with you. Maybe as much as any of the books. I know Swag did, because you got a son that's a golfer, and confidence is important. But Person of Interest, you've read multiple times.
Right.
And every time you read it, you walk away with something else.
Absolutely.
It's probably the best content book I've ever written, right?
And it's a deep concept, too. You know, it's a deep concept. Whenever I'm telling people about it, I'm like, the great thing is you'll be able to reflect back on parts of this book 6 months from the time you read it, a year from the time you read it, even heck 15, 18 months later, from the first time I read it, I'm going back to different elements to realize this is what makes me a person of interest and why I will not beg for any attention, whether that be relationships, business, personal, professional. I'm a person of interest. And each topic that's in there, each chapter, really, if you sit back and reflect on it, even a couple of months later, you're going to be like, that's it.
Yeah, because here's really the thrust of this. To be the most fascinating person in the world, you have to have something of value to offer the world that is incredibly interesting, that other people want a piece of. I call it must-have versus nice-to-have. You have something valuable that other people really, really need. So here's some key principles as we go throughout the show today. And then we're going to get you some kryptonite and a practical tip, because I'm thinking a lot of people that are following us on the Wit Nation.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are going to CoachBurt.com. Here's what's interesting to me. We're selling programs to people in Australia. Oh, yeah. We're selling books to people all over the world.
Right.
I like to say some people grow up and want to be a big fish in a little pond. They want to be big, and they want to be people of interest in their local
community
market.
Yeah.
And there is
Absolutely.
nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Because my advice is to always dominate the backyard before you dominate the whole yard, right? And if you can become a celebrity in your space, because part of being a fascinating person is that more people know you than you know them.
Absolutely.
So some key principles for you to remember throughout the show today is the very first sale you got to make to being the most fascinating person in the world is you got to sell your own self to yourself.
Right.
Because a lot of people are going to tell me, oh, I'm boring, I'm not that attractive, I don't have anything interesting to offer. I mean, that's all psychological mumbo-jumbo you've told your own self.
Right.
You've told your own self you're not that interesting.
Right.
First step you got to make, you can become a fascinating person. You can become a person that attracts other people. But the very first sale you got to make is you got to sell your own self to yourself.
Every day.
Every single morning. You will have to get uncomfortable, get to some new places, get around some new people, and do some new things to have something to say.
Right.
If you live in a small pond where you constantly are comfort and complacency, then you got nothing to say. There's nothing fascinating, right? There are two methods to go here. You can chase and try to sell people, or you can attract and you can become the buyer. Now remember this. People of interest, fascinating people, are buyers versus sellers. They attract versus chase. So the first goal is to become a person of interest and sell an object of interest. So Brock, how does an ordinary person live a fascinating life? And can they live for the viewer out there who's watching us on Wit Nation, who's all over following us on Twitter, who's out there going, man, there's no way, man. That can't be me. That's for somebody else. What would you tell them?
Hey, go out and experience life. You know, try to find new hobbies, new interests. Interview people. Take people to lunch. You know, just kind of get lost in other people's dreams. We talk about that a lot. And so if you start to experience things, then you begin to appreciate kind of what fascination's all about, whether it be a new vacation destination, a new friendship, a new business relationship. Go out and experience life. You really have to go out there and do something.
And we have a name for that in our selling system called the Aspirational Contract.
Right.
It's where you spend time. I'm glad I'm saying this because it's reminding me. It's where you spend time with talent every single week. Is there are people you want to interview, you want to talk to, and you want to learn something about. So let me give you the first piece of kryptonite in the first segment here that's going to hold you back from being a fascinating person, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get you to drive up your attractiveness. The great Jim Rohn said, to attract other people, we must become attractive. Right. And so here's the first piece of kryptonite. This is the one thing holding you back, guys. You retreat and contract. You go backwards, right? And pursue, therefore leaving you with minuscule experience and a minuscule life. There's something that I've been saying to our clients that I want you to start saying. I've got my man Dale Childress Jr. who's selling for Cardona there, saying it in every sales meeting. Man, that guy's on fire. Here, let me tell you what you need to say. You need to say to your clients, I want to play a significant role in your life. I am tired of playing small ball. I'm tired of playing in the minor leagues. I'm tired of being a rookie. I'm tired of being an amateur, man. I want to play a significant role in your life. To be a fascinating person, you got to quit contracting and retreating. You got to risk and pursue. Confident people want risk and opportunity.
Right.
Insecure people want comfort and complacency. On today's Super Coach Show, we're talking how to be the most fascinating person in the world. We're going to blow your mind. Come on back in segment number 2. I'm the Super Coach Micheal Burt, and this is Brock Patterson. Is the year of the monster. I'm talking about a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market. You see, I got a new coaching program, and I'm looking for people who want to have a monster year. Once a month coaching program for 3 hours with other like-minded monsters in a structured environment with key measurable outcomes and lots of accountability. You see, the monster coaching program is coming, and we've already got 22 monsters signed up. Will you be in the class? Are you somewhere else in the country? No worries. We'll be live streaming this with workshops every month online. You can come into Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where our monsters will be every single month for 3 hours. We also have two destination summits, one in New York City in April and one in Cabo San Lucas in the fall, and then a big celebration. If you're interested in being a monster, come on and join us. You get the Monster Producer Planner, you get the book, you get the app, and you get me coaching the heck out of you to be a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market in 2015. Go to monsterproducer.com. Welcome back to the Super Coach Show every Tuesday live from the great state of Tennessee, coming to you via Miami Beach, the Whatever It Takes Network with Grant Cardone, my buddy. I'm so thrilled to be on there pushing out content. I want to thank the people who are calling into our office. You can reach us by going to info@coachburt.com, and you can get up there in the world and contact us. You can be involved in our coaching programs. You can be personally coached by me. You can be involved in our licensing programs. You can buy any of our products, 10 books in the market. We got brand new planners. We got a brand new program called Monster Producer. You can get online or in person, and we've got memberships starting as low as $99 a month. That is out there for the taking. If you're hungry, then come and get fed with Coach Burt. Go to coachburt.com. Today we're talking how to become the most fascinating person in the world. And there are lots of fascinating people.
Yes.
I would start by becoming the most fascinating person in your market.
Right.
You know, I love going places in my hometown and people saying, oh, I know who you are. Just last week I went to church to a men's group, and I was a little nervous. It was a new men's group. Right? I knew some of the people, and the guy leading the group, I sat down, and he goes, oh, my God, I'm nervous because the super coach is in our men's group. And he was like, man, I'm nervous because I've never presented in front of somebody who's a professional like you. Feeling. And I was like, man, don't be nervous. I'm going to sit here and take it in. I didn't hardly say anything the whole class. I let him lead the class, but he knew me and I didn't know him. That's the concept of being a person of interest. And the way you become a person of interest is that you are in the transformation business. All of this is straight out of my book, Person of Interest. You can get it at coachburt.com, which is the only place in the world you can get this. You can't get it on Amazon. And let me tell you why I did that. It's exclusive.
Yeah.
It's exclusive content. You can get the MP3 at coachburt.com.
It's a book of interest.
But you know, we have this packaged up right out here in my office as a $2,000 book.
Yeah.
$2,000, which includes me speaking.
Yes.
But that's the concept.
Yeah.
It's an intriguing oh, there's a $2,000 book. And when we're selling books in Louisville or Atlanta or in Philadelphia coming up, right, all the places we're going, when I'm in that New York City at our Monster Producer Summit, and we put that $2,000 book up there, and they walk up, they say, man, we got a $2,000 book?
Collect.
That's interesting. So here's what you got to know about being this most fascinating person in the world, being this person of interest. People of interest are never, and I mean never, in the transaction business.
Right.
They are always in the transformation business. Now, let's look at what transformation is, because you and I have had a lot of discussion about this.
Right.
And you ask me a lot of times, which I listen. I got a lot of things coming at me, but I do listen.
Yes, you do.
And you say to me, how does a real estate agent be in the transformation business?
Correct.
Okay, which is a great question.
Yeah.
How does a regular Joe at Home Depot be in the transformation business? Here's what transformation means. It really means you come to me one way and you leave me another way.
Fair enough.
So you can come to me with low thoughts of value and leave me with high thoughts of value.
Okay.
You can come to me with low energy and leave me with high energy.
Transform.
Right?
Got it.
And so that's the difference between transaction and transformation. If you think about the people you do business with in a day, that after the transaction is over, there is no shift or change or movement in you.
No.
It's like lukewarm.
Just happened.
I did it.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. And that's 90% of the experiences out there.
Right.
But a person of interest, a fascinating person, sees every opportunity as the ability to transform low thoughts of value. And that's how I see what we do for a living. People come to us for the engine, what you say.
They do. They do.
The energy, the think. You know, I had people, we've got Blake Finney, who's in our coaching program, who told me after the first session of Monster Producer, he has made more phone calls, more contacts, and done more prospecting in the first 20 days.
I love that.
15 days of January than he did in all of 6 months ending last year.
Right.
That's transformation.
That's right.
When people come to our coaching program and say, we've sold a home every day, we made 1.4 transactions every 2.4 days since being in your coaching program, that's transformation.
You're right.
And for some people, let's put it into context though.
Yeah.
For some people, they're looking for confidence.
Sure.
Some people, they're looking for structure.
Right.
Some people, they're looking for something. So, Brock, here's the concept. When I'm with you, I feel better about me.
Absolutely.
So give me some examples, of some practical examples of I'm a low energy person. How do I get in the business of transformation? I'm not a confident person. I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
How do I get in that transformation business?
I think you got to, the first thing you got to do is really realize that believe in your product or service, believe that it can help that person. So I think belief, if you believe in it and tell yourself and you're convicted, then once you start to believe in it and share that same energy and passion and drive and ambition to your client, then they begin to start to realize that you're in the boat with them. Mm-hmm. You're rowing with them, which is what makes us different than a lot of other coaching businesses, is that we will get in the boat and row with someone. And you have to do that. I think you have to do that, and then your energy starts to change, your confidence starts to change, so that you become a different person, and therefore you're transforming lives. You didn't even know it.
Through coaching.
Yeah.
Changing lives through coaching. That's our basic belief.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Remember this. When I'm with you, I feel better about me. When I'm with a fascinating person, here's what I feel.
Yeah.
I feel motivated to start. Just to get going, baby.
Yeah.
I feel confident. I dream bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I get off the fence. I get back up when I get knocked down. I feel invincible. I feel like Superman.
Right.
I feel like I got superhuman feelings, okay? I want to expand versus contract.
Right.
When I'm with a person of interest, when I'm with a fascinating person, I'm like, dang, man, there is so much more world out there. And so for you, if you're a low energy person, here's what I would tell you. Like gravitates toward like.
Yes.
You get around high energy, high octane, motivated people. You come back and watch our show every single week, and we'll take your low thoughts of value to high thoughts of value. So let me give you some kryptonite. Let me give you some kryptonite that's going to keep you from being in the transformation business, because the world's most fascinating people, if you're going to be one of these people, you got to bring the goods.
Oh, yeah.
You got to bring the freaking goods. Here's the kryptonite. You can't get excited about your own dreams and possibilities. Therefore, you can't get anybody else excited about theirs. Now, you said it.
Yeah.
The great Zig Ziglar said this best. You don't buy the cookware, therefore you can't sell the cookware. Yeah. I think it was the old Pentecostal preacher that said, I'm going to light myself on fire and people pay to watch me burn. Is that who it was? But that's the concept. And we got a client named Dan Elam. He says, you're like the evangelist. I'm the preacher, and you're the evangelical.
I like it.
He said, I give the preaching every week, and you come in once a month, and you do a little evangelizing, right? And you get people jacked up. But here's the deal. If you're going to be one of the most fascinating people in the world, here's what I know you got to bring. Some kind of energy.
Right.
Some kind of energy. Even if you're introverted, you can do it. Even if you don't think you got it to push out, you can do it. You can bring something of value. When we come back in the next segment, segment 3, we're talking fascinating people have a deep belief system, and they share it with a lot of people, and then those people align with them. You're watching the Super Coach Show every Tuesday, 3 p.m. exclusively on the Whatever It Takes Network. Hey, this is Coach Micheal Burt, and I have a prediction. Within the next 5 years, every manager in the world will have to become a coach. You know, a good coach will do 3 things for you. They make you have conversations you don't want to have. They make you do some things you don't want to do. They'll help you become something you didn't think you could become. This transition, what I call the coaching revolution, prompted me to create a program called Turn Your Managers into Coaches. What we want to do is drive up engagement, drive up production. We want to become a manager other people want to follow. If you've got managers out there that you want to turn into coaches that engage people in systematic behaviors that allows them to do something tomorrow they simply cannot do today, pick up the phone and call us, 225-8380, 615-225-8380, or email us at info@coachburt.com, and we're going to teach you how to turn your managers into great coaches. Welcome back to the Super Coach Show. You can watch us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Whatever It Takes Network. We're here in Tennessee at 2 p.m. You can watch it at coachburt.com or Wit Nation, and subscribe to us. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Coach Micheal Burt. Almost 75,000, 76,000 views. Interact with us. Tweet us. We do have coaching programs for you. We do have everything from turning managers into coaches to monster producer. Right. I mean, we've got something for everybody. Today we're talking how to become the most fascinating person in the world. And in the commercial, the most fascinating person in the world. This concept actually came through a discussion with Lauren K. Hudgens. You can follow her at Lauren K. Hudgens, Secrets of a Successful Mama, and a yoga expert too. You watch her flip upside down and sideways and backward and all the things that I can't do. But I said I want to do a show around becoming the celebrity in your space around my book, Person of Interest. And she said, how about you title it The Most Fascinating Person in the World? And I am fascinated with fascination.
Right.
Because there are people that I become fascinated with.
Yeah.
How did Tony Robbins go from an apartment, 800 square foot apartment, to Tony Robbins? How does, these people go from here to there?
I think a lot of people are like that, right?
Yeah,
They want to know how to become a person.
Yeah, absolutely.
How to do it.
And there's 6 unique steps. I talk about them in the book. There's 7 ingredients of a person of interest. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show today. And there's a free prize, but you can become a person of interest. So in this segment, here's what we're going to talk about. Fascinating people have a belief system.
Right.
And what they do, in my assessment, is they share that belief system, and then people either align with it or don't align with it. They either believe it or they don't believe it. So we're going to go through how you cultivate this belief system, because fascinating people know what they stand for.
Right.
Fascinating people know what they stand for.
Yes, they don't pretend.
And all they do is they share it with other people.
Right.
And now they share it through Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+,
YouTube.
Through a channel like this. Yeah. And then other people in the world say, I believe it too.
Yeah. Right.
And if we believe it too, so we're going to walk you through a 5 or 6 step process here. We call this explanation of services.
Sure.
But here's what it says. Very first thing you got to do is you got to know what you believe, and you got to tell people what you believe and why you believe it.
Yes. Powerful.
And you got to give them a chance to believe it too. So, Brock, let's give them some practical advice here, because I know when I share explanational services, we actually have a workshop on this. When I share this concept with people, they get it pretty quickly.
Sure.
And so give some examples of some beliefs that we have.
Okay, we believe everybody needs a coach in life.
That's
we
right.
believe, that's our core belief system. One of the things that we also believe in is through systematic, regular training, you can begin to see results, right? So we believe in that. Monthly coaching, monthly accountability, legacy selling system. See, so we're lining up our core coaching with structure, and we also believe in multiple strategies to attract attention.
That's exactly right.
It's not going to take just one way. You can't just advertise on a billboard anymore. You can't just advertise with a commercial. But we believe in utilizing multiple strategies to become a person of interest. And when we line up and tell people what we believe and why we believe it, if it doesn't resonate with them, we move on.
We know it immediately.
Yeah.
And so Brock's exactly right. Let me give you some of our beliefs.
Yeah.
I believe there's never been a better time to look different and run faster in a saturated and commoditized world. Therefore, we wrote the book, Zebras and Cheetahs.
Yeah.
I believe in attracting business versus chasing it. That's why we write Person of Interest. I believe in that confidence is the one thing that affects everything. It's an asset. So I wrote Swag.
Right.
Every phone conversation, I wish you could have heard me today making prospecting calls where I was calling people and I was saying on the voicemail, I believe everybody needs a coach in life.
Yes, I'll do it.
Because a good coach have conversations with you don't want to have. They make you do some things you don't want to do. They help you become something you didn't think you could become.
Right.
Now, when I say that, in the first 14 seconds, people say, I believe that too.
Yes.
So the first thing we have to do is we got to know what we believe, and we got to share what we believe.
Absolutely.
Where? Everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean freaking everywhere.
You're right.
Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Vine,
Website,
Instagram,
conversations,
YouTube channel.
everywhere.
You got to say, this
Everywhere.
is what we believe. And would you rather know in the first 14 seconds or the first 14 months? Because if not, you're going to chase. Fascinating people don't chase.
That's right.
Second thing you got to do is you got to tell people why you believe it.
Yes.
So here's what I believe. I believe everybody needs a coach in life. Why do I believe it? Because a good coach can change your life.
Sure.
Have you ever had a good coach?
Yeah.
And people say, absolutely, I have had a good coach. Great.
Athletes.
Yeah.
Business owners. Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everyone.
Here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Name one Olympian today that doesn't have a good coach. Name one actor. Name one CEO.
Yeah.
You know, so think about this. Even Zuckerberg at Facebook was smart enough to hire a coach.
Sure.
So even the guys at Twitter hired a coach.
Yeah.
And so this is important, okay? So we know, here's what I believe. Fascinating people have a belief. Here's what I believe. Here's why I believe it, okay? Then you tell people what you do as a result of the belief.
Right.
And so here's what you said a minute ago. You said because of our belief that everybody needs a coach in life, we believe in engaging people in a set of systematic and consistent behaviors that allows them to do something tomorrow they cannot do today. Because of our belief, this is what we do. We engage people, right?
Sure.
And so I'll use it, monster producer, for example. We believe a monster producer is a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market. That's our belief. Because of that belief, we've created a coaching program, right? With other like-minded monsters in a key environment with key measurable outcomes with lots of accountability to help you become a monster. So tell them what you believe. Tell them why you believe it. Tell them because of this belief, this is what I do.
Right.
Like it, don't matter. Haters, likers, don't matter, right? Number 4, tell people how you do what you do differently than everybody else.
Sure.
This is the Zebras and Cheetahs. Zebra looks different than every other animal in the animal kingdom. Tell them why you're different, right? Tell people who you've done it for.
Big time.
You know, when I'm sitting down with the person, had a conversation just this morning with the financial advisor, and I said I've coached some of the top whole life producers in the world. I've also coached some of the top diversified financial advisors in the world, right? So now I'm giving proof of concept.
Sure.
Okay, I've coached $1 million producers before.
That's right.
And so that's who I've done it for, which gives credibility. Those are called evidence of success.
And if you don't utilize that, you know, we had a prospect in California, and I told them who we coached, and they knew exactly. Who we were talking about.
I know who that is.
So don't hold that back. Make sure you're telling people.
And the last part is this. So here's what I believe. Here's why I believe it. Because of that belief, here's what I do. Here's how I do it. Here's who I've done it for. And here's the big one, baby. If I could do it for you, then what in the world would stop us from getting started? Here's the kryptonite you're going to find in your life on this one, guys. That's the one thing that's holding you back from taking action on becoming the most fascinating person in the world. And here's what it is. You don't know what you believe. Okay? And if you don't have the mechanisms, or you don't have the mechanisms to shove them out to the world in enough ways. You may have a belief. You may have a belief. I believe this, but here's the problem. You ain't got nobody to share with.
Right.
And so you need more followers. You need more channels. And remember, people of interest attract, and they sell objects of interest.
No bad.
What is the market telling you about your product or service? Well, here's what the market's told us about person of interest. They like it.
Home run.
They like it. And when we share this concept, people are like, I want to become one of those. Now, this book is not for everybody.
No.
Because there are people who are not interested in becoming people of interest. So you know what they'll be doing? Chasing, begging,
year after year.
year after year, one deal after another. Let's just drive up your attractiveness. Let's just drive up your attractiveness. When we come back in the final segment, fascinating people have key ingredients that you can put into your life. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. I'm the Super Coach, and this is Brock Patterson. You're watching the Super Coach Show. 2015 is the year of the monster. I'm talking about a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market. You see, I got a new coaching program, and I'm looking for people who want to have a monster year. Once a month coaching program for 3 hours with other like-minded monsters in a structured environment with key measurable outcomes and lots of accountability. You see, the monster coaching program is coming, and we've already got 22 monsters signed up. Will you be in the class? Are you somewhere else in the country? No worries. We'll be live streaming this with workshops every month online. You can come into Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where our monsters will be every single month for 3 hours. We also have two destination summits, one in New York City in April and one in Cabo San Lucas in the fall, and then a big celebration. If you're interested in being a monster, come on and join us. You get the Monster Producer Planner, you get the book, you get the app, and you get me coaching the heck out of you to be a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market in 2015. Go to monsterproducer.com. Welcome back to Super Coach Show. We come to you every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time.
Taking notes.
Lauren K. Hudgens. I'm taking notes over there, girl. That's
Not
what I'm
tweeting
doing.
right now,
I
no.
ain't tweeting. I'm taking notes. If you do want to tweet us at Micheal Burt, Micheal, because everybody needs a coach in life, at Brock Patterson. You can follow us at CoachBurt.com. And I do want to pump and promote a big summit. The Monster. Coach Burt is coming to the Big Apple.
Big Apple, baby.
April 17th and 18th. New York City, Sheraton, New York City, Times Square, Monster Producer Summit, 2 days with me, 1 to 4 on Friday, 1 to 4 on Saturday. And you can get that for the simple price of $499. 8 hours with me, $499. I feel like we're giving this thing away, man. Go to CoachBurt.com. You can see it up there. It's the Monster Producer Summit. You can sign up online. It's at the New York City, Sheraton.
And you know what? We're talking about raising your hand if you have similar beliefs.
Yeah.
Raise your hand on Twitter.
Raise your hand and sign up.
And say, look, we're ready.
Raise your hand and sign up, because here's what I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you how to be a monster producer. I'm going to teach you how to elevate your status, which is part of being a person of interest.
Yes.
I'm going to teach you how to be better known, better understood. I'm going to teach you how to go out to the market and take your beliefs to the market. And here's the best thing. I'm going to teach you how to get compensated for what you do and what you believe, which is what fascinating people do.
Yes, they do.
Remember what I said in the beginning of the show. I'm going to go back to it because it's important. Fascinating people live fascinating lives.
Yes.
They spend time with other fascinating people. They wake up and pursue fascinating goals with their talents. They go to fascinating places like New York City. They experience fascinating opportunities other people don't. And the last part, and maybe the best part, Brock, is they make fascinating money.
Yes, they do.
Boy, I like that. I like the fascinating money part, because that's what Super Coach does. We want to get you to a superhuman level. We want to find the kryptonite in your life every Tuesday right here at Wit Nation, 3 p.m. Eastern. You can find it right there on Cardone's new network. Now, we're going to finish the show with this. Fascinating people have key ingredients. If you read the book Person of Interest, you can only get CoachBurt.com. It's the only place in the world you can get it, unless there's some bootleg versions out there. And there probably are somewhere.
Could be.
Some scalp tickets out there you can buy somewhere, right?
They're manufactured
Now,
in Asia.
When you think about this, fascinating people have some key ingredients. They don't just have any knowledge, Brock. They got specialized knowledge.
Yes.
They may have worldly knowledge. Like, I think they do have some worldly knowledge.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's like, this is the guy
Expert.
you call for that. So here's my first question. If you're going to be a fascinating person, what have you mastered? What have you personally mastered? They don't just have any skill. They got specialized skill.
Big.
Okay? They don't just have any skill. They got some specialized skill. Number 3, they don't just have any effort.
Right.
They got calculated effort. They don't just have any confidence. I got a new term I'm going to blow up right here.
Oh,
they
gosh.
got shareable swag.
Ooh.
Now, Lauren, I know you like this one.
Shareable.
This is important. My belief is this. When you're low on swag, you can borrow from people that have it. And confident, fascinating people have so much of it, they got shareable swag. They got enough left over to give it to other people.
Shoot, yeah.
Isn't that good?
That's right.
They don't just have any network, Brock. They got deep entrenched networks. They don't just have any connectivity. They got universal connectivity.
Right.
And they don't just have any likability. They got boatloads of likability. So how do I diagnose, if I'm out there today watching the show, how do I diagnose where my personal missing structures are? Coach Burt has said I got to have these 7 ingredients.
Right.
I didn't even talk about the free prize, which I'll talk about in the book. You have to get the book to get that one. But I need these 7 ingredients to start being more interesting, to attract other people. We must become attractive. How do I even start saying, where am I missing here?
Right.
What do I lack? Because I think this takes some awareness, man.
Yes, it
takes
does.
some awareness.
Yeah.
Where do I start?
I think the first thing you have to realize is you have to be honest with yourself. You're the person you have to trust the most in life. Okay? I'll say it again. You got to be honest with yourself. You're the person that you have to trust the most in life. And what I mean by that is if you continue to lie to yourself about where you are or where you're not, then eventually it's going to catch up to you. So I think you need to do some reflection on, some successful moments. What made you successful at that particular time? The what and the why. Look at some of your failures or your setbacks, and figure out, well, what did it take for you to get out of that plateau and move to that next pinnacle? So it takes a lot of self-reflection. I drive home a lot, and I do a lot of self-reflection without the radio on, without any music or podcast or anything like that. And I start talking to myself. Yeah, I know it's a little crazy, but I talk to myself about maybe a discussion I'm going to have, an opportunity that I missed. Because if I can coach myself, if I can be honest with myself, then I can find the missing structures.
That's exactly right. All progress starts by telling the truth.
Yeah.
So the topic of the show is how to be the most fascinating person in the world.
Yeah.
Well, I've already told you, fascinating people in the transformation business on how they make people feel. Fascinating people have a deep belief system.
Yes.
Fascinating people have 7 ingredients. So if all progress starts by telling the truth, the first thing you got to ask is, where am I lacking? I look at a person and I say, man, that guy's speaking and he's a fascinating person. What does he have? If I look at a Simon Sinek and I say, what does he have that I don't? What does Grant Cardone have that I don't? What does Joe Calloway have that I don't? What does Wing It have that I don't? Right? And I start going, well, he's got this. Wing It, what I like about Wing It, he's got a clear position. Pit bull of personal development. No nonsense. No BS. Tell you what, you may not like it, but he's interesting.
And he's embraced it.
He's got a position.
Yeah.
Okay? And I can appreciate that about him. I can appreciate the 10X with Cardone. What do these people have? What do they have? More swag than I do? More knowledge, more skill, more desire? So here's the deal. You got to start asking yourself, if you're living a boring, uninteresting, minuscule life, that's not going to attract big thinkers.
No.
It ain't going to attract big money. It's not going to attract anything. You have got to really dig in and say, man, I have got to experience more. I got to get uncomfortable. I got to get around bigger players in the world. I got to get this. In the book, I break it down, these 7 things: knowledge, skill, desire, confidence, likability, deep networks.
That's right.
Connectivity. Good for all time zones, baby. Good for all time zones. And not big cities and small towns. All right, let's get to some kryptonite, Brock. Then we're going to get these people out of here. World's most fascinating person, because you can become this person of interest I'm talking about. Become the person other people want a piece of and cannot live without. Here's really the kryptonite you got in your life, guys. You don't have the necessary ingredients of a fascinating person. I don't want to hurt your feelings. Okay? I know at times in my life, I've not been that fascinating.
Yeah.
I've not been that interesting. But I firmly believe you can drive up your person of interest score.
Yes.
I think there's even a book, Sally Hogshead. I think that's how you say it. Hogshead.
Yeah. Yeah.
She wrote a book called Fascination.
Right.
Or How to Be Fascinating, right? She's got all these things. You can become a fascinating person. And part of the problem is you're living a small and disinteresting life, or you're selling a product or service that is just not an object of interest.
Sure.
It's just not a good product, right? Are you on the right bus? Do you have the right product, okay? Fascinating people. Now, I want to close the show with this.
Let's go.
Because this is important.
Yes.
We found a kryptonite in your life like we said we do. We multiply your life, we multiply your money. Now, how does this play into multiplying your money? The more known you are, The more people that know you does one thing, drives up your visibility, your altitude. It drives up your leads.
Opportunity.
It drives up your opportunity.
Yeah.
And so remember this, fascinating people live fascinating lives, not boring lives. They go to fascinating places. I'm ready to go somewhere fascinating right now. They hang around fascinating people, right? They are people of interest, right? Who attract all kinds of opportunity to them. They never chase it. You can become one of these people. First steps, you got to buy my book, Person of Interest. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, maybe the best book I've ever written right there. And I believe that. I believe 100% because this book can show you how to become the most fascinating person in the world. We believe everybody needs a coach here at the Super Coach Show. We appreciate so much you letting us coach you because we will have conversations you don't want to have. We're going to force you to do some things you don't want to do, help you become something you think you could become. I'm the Super Coach, Micheal Burt. This is Brock Patterson. We're signing off.